You got the touch. You got the power. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I'm Nathan Marchand. This is Sergio Garza here, and we are about to embark on what might end up being one of the more difficult movie-going experiences we've had. We are about to go see the new Ghostbusters, which is being marketed as the most talked about movie of the year. I think it might be more likely to call it the most controversial, and that music is really loud.
Anyways, we just finished watching the first movie, so, I mean, I'm not gonna argue, it's a classic.
How many times have you seen it now?
This is my 44th time watching this film.
Watching it today.
Yeah.
And we have seen it in a movie theater before. Was it last year?
It was last year.
No, it was
2014.
2014 because it was the 30th anniversary.
Yeah, the 30th anniversary showing, but I guess they had one 2015 and this year too.
It was a Fathom event, yeah. We didn't go see that one.
It's kind of, I think they're just kind of doing it every year.
It's
now.
well, no, I think it's a cash-in.
This year was a cash grab for the new movie, but last year they had an airing, I know that much. But, so what are your overall thoughts about it?
What can be said? What can be said that everyone else hasn't already said? The dang thing's a classic. I haven't seen it 44 times like you have. I know I've seen it quite a bit. I grew up on it. I watched the animated series and things like that. So I'm quite familiar with it. And every time I see it, I am continually amazed by this film. It's a classic for a reason. It has incredible talent and in working on it. The writing is superb. The direction is great. It always finds a way to find that perfect balance between being funny and being scary, which is one of its greatest strengths. And the other thing that I loved about it, and I was pointing this out to you, was that the humor is not always in your face. It's actually kind of subtle at points. There's some deadpan humor in it, some dry humor, because that's the kind of things that people like Bill Murray and them were doing in that. But it also has a variety. There's some slapsticky things in it, too.
And, I mean, the movie's not perfect. It's got a couple things that are not good. But it's not as bad as Ghostbusters 2. But even then, I love Ghostbusters 1 and 2. Animated series. I love everything about Ghostbusters. What to expect from the new film, we don't know. I mean, I'm honestly kind of excited just to see how good or bad it is, since it's certified fresh and Rotten Tomatoes.
I have opinions on that, but I'll share those from when we talk about it, because once we're done here, we're going to go see the movie, and then the next time you see us, we're going to be talking about the new movie.
Well, we watched a video. Well, we watched the trailer before we watched the original movie. We watched the trailer and the PlayStation Store advertising the new movie. And
it was like a 30-second spot at best.
Threw that shit out of you. Like,
most talked about movie, certified fresh. They're trying so hard to quell the hate that's been brewing about this movie now.
I just can't think of any other film that has said that they're certified fresh.
I've seen a few other trailers or TV spots where they at least say it has this much percentage on Rotten Tomatoes or something.
I've never seen somebody brag about it though. Like,
it's not often.
But anyways, I got a couple things here that I want to try before we go see the new movie. We got some Ecto Cooler.
This is the best thing so far that came out of this new movie. The return of Ecto Cooler, man.
Shit's like wine, I'm telling you. And then I got some Key Lime Slime Twinkies and some, the hell? Some White Fudge Marshmallow Twinkies. So we're going to try these real quick.
Great. Now we're doing a Brad Jones Tries video.
Well, it was kind of, look, I didn't think that they were going to have them in the store because the Ecto Cooler I had to order from Amazon. I've never seen it in the store. I don't know, I'm just going to the wrong ones, but it's kind of hard to get a hold of because as soon as they get the stuff, it's fucking gone.
The nostalgia for Ecto Cooler is strong. Stronger than the Force, apparently.
So, like, these, I only heard about them through Amazon, actually, and then they wanted $16 for a case.
Are you kidding? How many did you get? Just a box like this?
I didn't know. I didn't buy these from eBay. I bought these at Walmart. I actually went this morning and I saw them.
What are the key line slime there? Yeah.
But I'm just surprised that, people are...
All right, so we're going to try the marshmallow ones first.
Oh, we gotta pour the ecto cooler in real
Oh,
quick.
yeah.
Gotta wash it down. Oh, look at this. I mean, check this out.
Oh.
Look at that green stuff right there.
Oh. It doesn't get any better than that.
Look at that. Perfect. Here you can have a little more.
Oh man, even the smell makes me nostalgic.
I love it. I've never had it.
Oh.
I didn't grow up in the 80s, so I don't know what it tasted like, but I actually tried it.
Oh, you're going to do key lime slime first?
Yeah, let's do key lime slime first.
We've had the ecto cooler before.
So it smells like a regular Twinkie.
Tell them about the Twinkie.
Yeah. Are you ready? A regular Twinkie.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not noticing much different. Although there seems to be surprisingly little cream in here.
That's green. Look at that.
I bet our tongues are going to turn green.
Well,
okay.
That's all right.
I'm not, like I said, not noticing much flavor. Hey, wait. Oh, man.
So not sure. All right, let's try this one
The
now.
marshmallow. Got little bits of gozer in here.
God, I hope not.
That'd be an interesting plot for a Ghostbusters story, wouldn't it? Yeah, goes to the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, just takes little bits of himself, makes it into confectionaries like this to infect people,
So
possess them.
these are smaller than the regular Twinkies, and they're like sugar coated, well, frosted.
Yeah. This one has a lot more cream in
Oh
it.
my god. I like these.
I do like these.
It's got marshmallow cream inside. Oh, man.
But I'm really liking that plot idea. Little bits of gozer and food to possess people.
It's too much sugar.
It is a lot of sugar.
Oh my god. Oh god. Oh.
Man. We're gonna go into a sugar coma before we see the movie. We'll pass out.
I think I like these better, even though it's got more sugar. These aren't bad. Without key lime slime. They just taste like a regular Twinkie with just a little hint of lime, I guess, on the cream. But anyways, we're gonna go watch the new movie, and we'll give you our thoughts when we come back. I just hope it's not that bad.
We can only hope.
I've been fucking dreading this day because I don't know how it's gonna turn out. So, anyways,
No, if all else fails, we'll just drink ourselves to death with the ecto cooler.
delicious.
See you in a bit.
And we just came back from seeing the new Ghostbusters movie. I don't even know, I should fucking call it Ghostbusters. It certainly didn't feel like one.
It didn't break us, at the very least. We kind of had to riff it a little bit to get through it. How is this at 74% again on Rotten Tomatoes?
Money. Sony.
I don't. My theory is that it's either Sony's bought off a bunch of critics, or because of how Sony's been marketing this, once the backlash got started, they immediately put the spin on it that if you don't like it, you're a sexist or a misogynist, that now it's critic-proof and critics aren't brave enough to say what they actually think, that being that this is a terrible movie.
It was awful. It was... There's two things that I like about this movie. Holtzman, one of the characters.
I can't remember the actress's name, unfortunately. Katie McKinnon?
Yes.
Kate McKinnon?
Kate McKinnon. And Patty. A couple of scenes. I thought she was funny.
Patty's okay. McKinnon kind of steals the show. She's essentially this movie's Egon. And she has a great look.
Why couldn't she have her own fucking movie?
Yes, because she is a bright spot and kind of a river of bland in this. Because Melissa McCarthy and their Venkman proxy...
Christian Wiggs, I think's her name.
Kristen Wiggs or whatever.
Some shit like that.
Yeah, see, I can't even remember her character's name, but she's the Venkman proxy in this. They're both boring. They aren't that interesting. Patty is kind of fun, but only in certain scenes. And then, weirdly enough, you have Holtzman, who has probably the fewest lines out of the four of them, and she's the most entertaining because a lot of her gags are visual. And the handful of times she does talk, she's really funny because she's also the only one who kind of spits out any sort of jargon, and it's presented in a humorous fashion. And she's quirky.
She's always moving. She's always moving. She's always smiling, doing something. And the other ones are just like, oh, well, ghost. Oh, I got slime. Oh, that's pretty much it. Patty, she's got a couple good lines that I thought were funny. Leslie Jones, I don't hate her, but she could get really annoying. I thought she was going to be screaming the entire movie, and I thought that would be very annoying. But no, she didn't. She
managed to avoid that stereotype at the very least. You know that because I know that was a thing for a while. You know, the screaming black man. I guess screaming black woman qualifies too. I don't know.
Man, fuck this movie. It was a big fuck you. To me, it was a big fuck you, and here's why. They put so little effort into the villain, into the plot. The writing was fucking lazy. The effects were half-assed.
Oh, I've got so much to say.
It was fucking mediocre shit that Sony put out.
I'm not even sure I want to call it mediocre, because the only thing I really liked in this movie were... I mean, it got some laughs out of us. Okay, let's admit it got some laughs out of us.
A couple of
laughs. But most of the time when I was laughing, it was to deal with the fact that this movie was awful. I was trying to laugh at it, not with it. And
sometimes the jokes were so bad that you were just like, wow. That kind of laugh.
Now, I'd also like to point out, notice how we said that we actually liked a couple of these cast members. And the ones that we were criticizing them because they were playing bland characters and were written in a bland fashion. It has nothing to do with the fact that they're women.
They could have wrote the characters way better. In my opinion, it's not their fault. It's the shitty script. All right? They wanted to make a female Ghostbusters. Go ahead. That's fine. But if you're just gonna fucking half-ass the script, then...
Yeah, but they do that. But here's the thing: we were talking about this on the way back.
Yeah,
where are we going?
I'm just gonna get something from over here.
Okay, we were talking about this on the way back. It dawned on us that, weirdly enough, this is a sexist movie. We're not sexist. We're not. You know, I don't think you have to be a sexist and not, to dislike this movie. But the movie is sexist because we realize. Every male character. Yes, sexism can apply. It can apply to prejudice against men too. Okay, it goes both ways. That's how this works. We realized every male character, every single male character in this movie is either dumb, rude, or both. Every single one. You have Chris Hemsworth. You know Thor. Remember him? Who's in this? He's the secretary. They're Janine. And he's an idiot. You have the villain, who's this mad scientist type. And when I say mad scientist, I mean like bad comic book cartoon mad scientist. He's practically a parody of mad scientist.
He's a pissed off little nerd, and they just wanted to fucking rub that shit in.
Yeah.
And that got really fucking annoying.
Yeah. And then all the other bit characters, the mayor of New York, he's kind of an idiot. Compare him to the mayor in the original Ghostbusters, who didn't understand what was going on, but then the Ghostbusters come in, tell him what's going on, and then what does he do? He says, "Go do your job." This guy was an idiot. He knew that what they were dealing with was real, but he wanted it to be. He wanted to frame them and make them look like they were fake because the government was getting involved and didn't want them. Didn't want all this to get out, even though it's so plainly obvious. You can't hide this stuff.
Yeah, and what did the government do? Nothing.
Yeah, and
nothing got fucking done. Nothing got fucking resolved. It was a bunch of fucking bullshit.
Oh, but I'm not even done with the whole sexism thing. The worst example in the whole thing, as bad as those were, the worst example was that dean, that college dean, when they went and talked to him.
So there's a scene.
How does someone like him even become a college dean?
There's a fucking scene in the movie where they get kicked out of college, go figure, like in the first fucking movie, and apparently it's this really shitty college. Because the dean is a fucking joke, and he fucking stands there and fucking flips them off.
He's trying to do all these really clever ways to flip them off and things like that. I'm surprised when they were trying to do the whole, I got 2 words for it, and she's like, oh, it'll be get out. No, it'll be suck it. No, it'll be get out. It'll be suck. I was waiting for it to be an F-U. Like, he just throws it out there because you can say one F-bomb and keep a PG-13 rating. I was waiting for that. But instead, we get the whole little, oh, look at all the clever ways I can flip you off. Oh.
I mean, it was like the shittiest fucking villain I've seen in a movie in a while.
He was so juvenile.
He was probably up there with the new Fantastic Four's Doom. But even then...
At least Doom was just bland and overpowered and not representative of the comics. This guy had lame, underdeveloped motivations that were already kind of murky. He's telegraphing everything. That's the other big problem this movie has, is it treats the audience like we're a bunch of idiots because it has to telegraph.
Hey, here's Ghostbusters. Hey, you like Ghostbusters? Here you go, you fucking moron. Here's the new Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah,
that's how they treat the fucking
because
audience.
they have to telegraph everything. Every scene that this villain was, Rowan, I think was his name.
Rowan, yeah.
Yeah, he's all like, I'm going to stick it to the Ghostbusters so bad, and I'm going to sit here and talk to myself because I'm crazy. See, I'm a mad scientist. I'm all kinds of crazy. And then when they meet him in his evil lab, I guess you could say.
The fucking basement.
It's in a basement. And what does he do? I'm going to sit here and monologue about how people are awful and I want them all to die. So I'm going to use these machines to make all these ghosts show up so they can go pester all of them. And then one of the ghosts was like, you mean the apocalypse? Yeah, his whole plot comes down to apocalyptic pestering. That sounds like the title of a really bad comic book or something.
And this fucking movie,
pestering.
they don't even fucking follow rules. There's no rules. They just do whatever the fuck they want.
Especially at the climax.
Because
the climax
fuck you, Ghostbusters, that's why.
Or as they say in Doctor Who, because shut up.
It's just, they don't give a shit. They're like, we'll do this, and okay, the guy, fucking spoilers.
Who cares? I don't care about spoilers in this.
The fucking asshole killed himself and turned into a fucking ghost. And apparently he has fucking powers now, because when you die and become a fucking ghost, I guess you're a fucking godlike fucking gozer.
Well, yeah, no, it's just apparently when you possess somebody, because there's lots of stories about people who get possessed who exhibit superhuman abilities, superhuman awareness, superhuman strength and all that, so they just had to put that in there. But the thing that undermines that is he was making a joke because he possesses, and I called this, that's the other problem this has, is this movie is incredibly predictable, and every prediction that I made, all but one of them happened. I called all but one of them. And one of the ones I said is, oh, this guy's dead now?
This guy right here?
He'll possess this Chris Hemsworth, and that's exactly what he did. So what does he do? He makes a joke about how, oh my gosh, he's got muscles. Oh, I wish I worked out more when I was, when I was alive. And I'm like, who the heck cares? Apparently you get superhuman strength when you possess somebody.
When I was a fat little troll that hated the world, maybe I should have worked out more. This guy right here, and Holtzman were the only thing that were fucking worth watching in that piece of shit.
Oh, do we want to talk about the cameos? 'Cause Slimer had a cameo, and Slimer has a girlfriend now, and she looks awful. She looks like Slimer with lipstick and a wig. That's Mrs. Slimer for you. But they had almost every living major cast member from the original movie make some sort of an appearance in this.
The cameos were horse shit. They were fucking horse shit. Like, Bill Murray shows up.
Oh, that was the worst one.
That was like, Bill Murray here. Fuck you, he's dead now.
Oh, no, yeah, because that's what happens. He shows up on TV, and I thought they would leave it at that. And then he shows up, he's supposed to be like, what's that one guy? He's like the scientist who loves debunking everything in movies when it comes to science. I can't remember. He's a black guy. I can't remember.
Bill Nye.
No, it's not Bill Nye. But anyway, he's supposed to be this guy.
Tyson DeGeneres?
Yeah. He's like that. He's kind of like that, except he goes around and debunks all these paranormal things. And you see him first on TV, and I thought they would leave it at that. But no, he shows up at the Ghostbusters HQ, I guess you want to say. They just live on the top floor of a Chinese restaurant after they troll you a little bit with the firehouse. And
because Paul Feig likes to turn things upside their head.
Yeah. So he shows up, and I feel like that whole scene was like a metaphor. Maybe an unintentional metaphor, but a metaphor for this entire movie. So you have Bill Murray, the original Ghostbuster, there with these new ones, and he says, "You're all a bunch of frauds." He's like, "Oh, you have a ghost in this trap? I want to see it." And everybody except for Kristen Wiig or whatever is like, no, we can't let it out. That's dangerous.
No, it was Melissa McCarthy that didn't want to fucking release the ghost.
Well, the other two didn't really want to either.
Christian Wiig's the one that released
Yeah, but the other two didn't want to either. It's just that when she's like, "No, I'm going to do it," they're all like, "Get the proton packs, get the," But so it's incredibly stupid. We as the audience know. We saw them catch this thing. We know it's dangerous. We know it's stupid to let it out just to impress this guy.
Yeah,
and she does it anyway. And then what happens? They let the ghost out, and it kills Bill Murray.
Goes straight for him, throws
him out the window. I'm like, well, what a wonderful metaphor for this whole movie. Because it's a bunch of dumb people who just killed the franchise.
They threw the franchise right out the fucking window, and it fucking fell right out.
Yeah, but who shows up? We had Bill Murray, we had Dan Aykroyd, we had Ernie Hudson, we had
Amy Potts,
Sigourney Weaver,
and then they had a fucking bust of Harold Ramis in the college. Mm-hmm. But it's like, well, that was the only thing that was.
And then we had the character cameos. Slimer showed up in several scenes.
Fucking Stay Puft.
And then Stay Puft, that was so lame because there's a point where the ghosts are running rampant and there's a weirdo parade for some odd reason going on.
It's a fucking ghost parade. It's a
and then it possesses the floats. And I thought, okay.
No, there was no fucking parade. It was a bunch of fucking ghosts throwing.
They just looked like floats?
No, they were throwing. It was like an old parade that they used to have.
Oh.
It was like a fucking 30s Macy's Day Parade.
I thought it was supposed to be a real deal parade, and the floats got possessed.
Why the fuck would
because possessed parade floats would have actually been kind of interesting. And then it turns out Stay Puft is just one of them. And here's the stupid thing: there are all these references to the original movie, but like the thing with Stay Puft. Anyone who has not seen the original movie isn't going to know who Stay Puft is. So the fact that Stay Puft is in this, there's no context for him to exist in this. In the original movie, they established
other than knowing that he's from the fucking first movie.
And the fact that Stay Puft, they established Stay Puft, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in the original movie, he's said to be a mascot for Stay Puft Marshmallows. And we see the Stay Puft Marshmallows earlier in the movie. So there was establishment for that. That was world building. And in this one, he's just there. Now, if you know who Stay Puft is, it might be kind of interesting, but if you don't know who he is, it's pointless. He's just there. And you want to talk... I was telling you, there's some other things I was noticing about this. There are some things in it that I don't know if it was intentional or not, because the backlash against this movie didn't start really until the first trailer was released, and that was about what?
Most hated trailer.
About 5 months ago?
Most fucking hated trailer
on YouTube
history.
Yeah, it was like 5 months ago, something like that. That's when the backlash started. And I feel like whether they knew it was going to happen or if they made changes in the production once the backlash started, there are points where I felt like this movie was being metatextual. Hence why you have, like, Rowan in particular, you know, presenting Rowan as this idiot, as this raving loon. I almost wonder if that's supposed to be kind of their little proxy for the people that were complaining on the internet about this, because they just want to think they're a bunch of sexist, dumb guys who can't stand the fact that you've made the Ghostbusters all girls and stuff like that. When the majority of the comments...
A bunch of stupid fucking nerds that hate everything.
Yeah, when the majority of the comments had nothing to do with the all-female cast. It had to do with the fact that this movie didn't seem to understand what made Ghostbusters work.
I mean, this whole movie is just...
Was it ever scary?
No.
Was it ever at any point scary?
There was one jump scare, and that's when the fucking ghost puked, but it's because it screamed and I didn't
But we already knew that was going to happen from the trailer.
Yeah, we knew.
I mean, there were some things that were kind of...
It was just the sound, because I didn't expect it from the fucking theaters.
There were a couple... There was a point... I feel like the only time it was really that scary was during that opening sequence. Because they were... But even then...
That was so
I mean,
lame.
it was okay for a while, but then they overdid it right at the end with the gratuitous special effects and all of that, because that's when I was like, no, you've gone too far. It needs to be smaller. It needs to be subtler in order to make this work, because that's how the original movie was. Because in the original movie, you don't see the ghost at all. You don't see anything crazy other than the librarian's hair gets blown by wind. You know,
you don't really see the ghost in the opening scene anyways. You don't see that. But you have the guy running away, and then he like goes in the basement, and oh well, there's a fucking ghost.
Yeah, but that's when
can I talk for a minute? And then the fucking floor turns green, and it starts fucking like glowing green, and then slime starts pouring out of the floor, and then the guy tries to go back upstairs, and then he falls and he's hanging from a cliff, and he's like, ah, no, ah, like what the fuck, man? It's like. It wasn't funny and it wasn't scary. It was fucking pointless to have that. Go for either one. If you were gonna go for funny, then go for funny, or go for fucking scary. But it didn't even fall in between. It was just stupid. It was stupid.
And that's the thing that makes the original Ghostbusters work, and we talked about this in our little intro, is that Ghostbusters is funny and it's also scary. And a lot of the humor is coming from the characters trying to be funny to cope with what's going on. You don't really get that in this. Or if it is, it's so over the top and in your face, it's like, whoa, joke, joke, joke.
The characters in the first movie were, you could believe they're real people. And this,
they're cartoons.
They're fucking cartoons.
Like, the whole movie just looks like a cartoon. The production design, I was bringing this up, the production design in this movie looks like a cartoon.
Even some of the outfits that they wear, it's like, what the fuck? Who wears that?
The set design, especially the evil lab, Rowan's evil lab, it looks like a cartoon. Like or like something you would see on Haunted Mansion.
You could probably go fucking watch the fucking Scooby-Doo movies. And
yeah, the Scooby-Doo movies. The PKE meter in this. I hate the PKE meter in this. It looks like a toy. The PKE meter in the original movies looked like a real device. Heck, even the cartoon version didn't look this cartoony. It was changed a little bit, but it still looked closer to the movie version.
It was...
I hated the PKE meter in this. It was so dumb. It was dumb!
And then they had the fucking ghost, like... ghost chipper and ghost grenades and a ghost whip.
Yeah.
The ghost whip was pretty cool because Holtzman fucking sold it, man. I mean, she did a good job.
Yeah, because we can talk about the climax in a little bit here.
But the fucking, like, grenades and, like, the fucking ghost chipper and a fucking ghost shotgun.
Yeah, this sounds like something you would see in a bad Ghostbusters video game or in a bad Ghostbusters cartoon.
That's like something a fucking kid, like, comes up with. Like, you fucking, I'll just shoot the ghost with a gun. You have a proton pack, you fucking idiots. Use it. You don't need fucking guns. You're gonna fucking, you might as well get an AK-47 and fucking say that the fucking...
A proton AK-47.
Yeah, a proton AK-47 and say, this has got ghost bullets! And fucking go around shooting the fucking thing.
Suddenly, I suddenly love the term proton AK. You know, just like...
Proton K-47 or some shit. Why not have a fucking ghost bazooka and blow the fuck out of him,
and
too?
so here's the other problem. This movie tries harder to be funny than it does to be scary. And the sad thing is that it fails at being funny most of the time. There are some things that Patty says that are funny. Holtzman was the most consistently funny. But the problem was that the jokes in this are lame. They did the sort of stupid things that show up in too many modern comedies. Oh, we'll have the fart joke, and then we'll kind of make it implicitly even dirtier.
We'll have dick jokes and fart jokes and
then my favorite part. Oh, what a giant middle finger this was, and it really didn't make any sense. At the end, okay, so Rowan possesses Chris Hemsworth, keeps his body for a while, then for whatever reason just decides to dump him. I don't know why. I thought he had a lot of pretty good advantages using it, and it didn't really seem like it hindered any of his ghost powers or whatever, as the credits kind of showed us. But we'll talk about that in a minute, I suppose. So he dumps it, and then decides to pull a gozer. When we did know he could do this, we don't even know why he seems to be so much more powerful than all the other ghosts in the movie.
They never explained how this fucking asshole even got the powers to begin with. Because from my fucking understandings, if you die and you become a fucking ghost, you're just a fucking ghost. You're not gonna be fucking, I don't know, a fucking demigod like fucking Gozer was.
Yeah.
But apparently that's what happens in this movie, because fuck you, Ghostbusters, that's why.
Yeah. So what he does is he pulls a gozer. He says, oh, what do you want me to look like? And they even do the same thing where they're like, oh, don't think of anything. And then somebody says, and then Patty is just all like,
I want something cute and
like
something nice.
Like a cute little ghost. And then what does he do? He pops up into a traditionally animated, 2D hand-drawn animation.
This
he looks
right
like
here.
the logo.
Like that shit right.
And he jumps out of the logo, and then he's all like, oh, okay, I'll be this. I thought, okay, this could be kind of amusing if he just stays as like the little hand-drawn logo, but no! He decides to become a Godzilla movie at the end. He starts growing, and he's the size of a building, and he's this big CGI monstrosity.
Hold on. Okay, so they're like, well, the first one had a big fucking Stay Puft giant marshmallow going around town, so we need to make something big like that too. Like, why does every fucking movie have to do that, man?
Well, and what I was trying to get at by bringing that up is that to go with the dumb jokes is, you know how they beat him at the end? Because they tried to suck him into a portal, which they do by blowing up the Ecto-1, because the Ecto-1 had something nuclear on it, which they never brought up until 5 minutes before they had to do it. They shoot him in the groin with the proton packs.
Right in the fucking dick, and you know what I did?
Which doesn't make any sense, because he does not appear to have any balls. And yet he still acts like he got kicked in the groin.
I got so
with the proton packs.
I got so
it was
fucking
so stupid.
I got so fucking pissed that I just flipped the fucking screen, because that's how fucking angry I was at this shit.
I've never seen him do that. We have sat through some bad movies before in the theater. I've never seen you flip the screen off.
Why would you make them shoot the fucking thing? Imagine if it was a female ghost and they shot it in the fucking private section. Holy shit.
Or the
God forbid if they fucking do that, right? Because that's fucking sexist. Man, fuck that. Fuck that. It's so dumb. If it would have been a big fucking female ghost with fucking giant tits and they shot her in the tits, or they shot her in the fucking pussy, that would have been fucking sexist. But they can shoot this fucking piece of shit right in the fucking groin, right? That's fine. That's funny, right? That's comedy. Thank you, Sony. Thank you so much for making me fucking laugh.
And then we get to then we have this little thing where Melissa McCarthy gets dragged into the portal, and then her best friend Kristen Wiig jumps in there to save her, and then for no reason whatsoever they get out of the portal and their hair is white.
They never say why.
And they never explain why.
Fuck you, why? That's fuck you.
Because shut up. Yep. And then we get to the end. And the whole credit sequence was just full of these wonderful little,
Let me talk.
punches to the face.
That was gonna be Paul Feig, this fucking dumb piece of shit, and I fucking hate him to death. He was gonna have a fucking dance segment in the movie.
Yeah,
there was gonna be a 3 fucking minute scene of the whole fucking police department and army fucking dancing like fucking retards, and we were supposed to sit through this whole scene.
Let me explain the context of this. Rowan, while possessing Chris Hemsworth, was going to use his magical ghost powers, which he did display. We know where the scene would have been. The army and the police force are there to try to get him, and then he uses his magical ghost powers to freeze them in place and then just pose them into a disco pose and just hold them there. That's all that happens in the movie. But they had filmed an entire sequence where he's jumping around, flicking his hands like that, all that, and he forces all of these guys to do this dance number. It got cut from the movie, but I'm guessing Sony was like, no, you can't put this in there, we're getting enough backlash as it is. But Paul Feig's like, I want to have it in there. So they compromised and cut it out of the movie, but then put it into the credits.
Like, how do you disrespect something like this? Like, how do you end up in this shit downward spiral from such a classic? Because no one's gonna remember this fucking movie 6 months from now, 3 months from now. No one's
Next
gonna,
week,
no one's,
when it gets buried by Star Trek.
No one's gonna give a shit about this movie. All right, we already saw what it brought in on fucking, you know,
What, 30 million?
40. It was like 40 million or something. The movie's not gonna be very good, and they want to make more fucking films.
Yeah, we could talk about that. Another thing, you get to the end of the credits, the movie's dedicated to Harold Ramis. That's an insult right there, I would say. I don't think Ramis would like this.
And look, before,
And then...
hold on, before people that are saying, they raped my childhood, fuck you, alright? You know what? It's not a good film, but no, my fucking childhood is fine, and I still have the fucking 1984 original. If I want to go see it, I'll just fucking watch that. I'll watch the fucking animated series. And you know what? I got so fucking pissed that I just decided to fucking stop at GameStop on the way home, and I just fucking picked this thing up, and I'm gonna fucking play this tonight, because that's how fucking pissed off I am. I'm just gonna play this, because this is a real third fucking movie. I even have it on fucking Xbox, because I love the fucking thing so much. It just...
But speaking about sequels, there's a post-credit scene in this, like Marvel-style post-credit scene, where they sequel bait. But not only do they sequel bait promising us that we could have Gozer, because they're listening to something that they had recorded, and Patty looks over and says, hey, who's Zool?
They ain't doing shit.
Oh, who's Zool? If you've seen the original movie, you know who Zool is, and that means we could have Gozer. Do we really want Gozer in the hands of this rebooted franchise?
They're not gonna get.
No,
they're not gonna get.
They'll ruin that one too.
They're not gonna get that far. The movie. The only way to.
Yeah, except Sony's pretentious enough to try to go through with
it. Let them. You think people are gonna go see it after this? You think people are gonna give a shit? No. I'm sorry. They can try. Go ahead. Spend another $140 billion. You fucking idiots. 140 million, I'm sorry. Go spend another $140 million or 150 or 200 million to make another shitty movies.
Sorry, the camera paused.
Hold on. So they can keep trying. They can try all they want, and at the end, people are going to end up getting sick of this. All right? We were talking about who we thought should direct the movie, and was it Edgar Wright?
Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright, the guy that did Shaun of the Dead and
Scott Pilgrim versus the World, Hot Fuzz.
All those fucking movies. I think that guy would have been an excellent choice. And even if the fucking cast was female, they would have been fucking badass females. You know? He would have wrote them right. He would have had the right quirky humor. It would have had the right fucking action. And it would have been scary enough to fucking make you jump. Or at least make you fucking dread that fucking moment.
Yeah, we need... Wait, I said we were going to talk about the climax, so I think we need to talk about the climax. Now, I felt like as much fun as Holtzman was, because she stole the show. The whole movie she stole the show, but she really stole it during the climax. Because she had this sequence where she's going around taking out ghosts with her little proton whip or whatever it was. But I feel like the climax of this movie was needlessly action movie-esque.
I thought it was fucking
this is not how the original Ghostbusters is. The original Ghostbusters was not really an action movie. And this had an action movie climax.
We're trying to compete with Marvel. We're trying to compete with all the fucking...
Yeah, because they had lots of special effects. They gave Rowan ghost goons, and they each have their own little unique weapons, and they're going around taking out ghosts. Like, we don't need the traps anymore. We can just...
Where the fuck did they learn to fight? Where the fuck did they learn how to fucking jump like that? And all of a sudden they turn into fucking ninjas.
Well, they
Like
weren't
fucking-
quite doing
what's her
that.
name?
But
Well, did you see him fucking jumping around and shit?
no.
I did.
Oh wait, you mean like jumping around like ninjas? Well, I was thinking like they weren't like flying around like superheroes or anything. But I see what you mean though. They seemed like they were a lot more adept than they should be.
Where the fuck, fucking, what's her name? Abby, the fucking Melissa McCarthy, she couldn't even fire the fucking proton pack, and all of a sudden she's fucking punching around fucking Ghost and shit. Like,
And
really?
before she was doing her usual sort of humor, which is
Fat people falling.
Yeah.
Fat people falling, because that's fucking comedy.
yeah, and some might say that the climax of Ghostbusters might be kind of boring or whatever, but I don't think it is. I think the climax for the original Ghostbusters was exactly what it needed to be. It wasn't an action movie. It was exciting. It was tense, but it was not it did not need to have a bunch of crazy go nuts action going on. It didn't. That's not the kind of movie that it was. And this wanted to be a superhero movie or an action movie or something. I don't know how
The
to
first
describe
movie,
it.
they had the portal at the gate. Stay Puft was coming after him. And Egon says, the only way we're gonna fucking stop this is we need to shoot that fucking gate and we need to cross the streams.
They never brought up crossing the streams. They never once brought it up. The closest they got to it was like, oh, I put this nuclear thing onto the car.
Because fuck you, Ghostbusters. So
And like, you didn't want to tell us that?
So Egon is like, all right, we need to do this.
Egon?
I'm talking about
Oh, the
first
original
film.
movie, okay.
You know, they're like, we need to do this. We might end up dying, but fuck it, we're gonna do it because we love New York. And they fucking shoot that gate, and the shit blows up, and they save the fucking town. And then they come downstairs, and they wave at the audience, and then fucking Ray Stantz fucking drives the Ecto-1 out. And that's the end of the movie. How the fuck does this piece of shit end? Blow a fucking ghost in the dick, throw him in there, pull your friend out, we got white hair, let's go to a bar. Okay, we go to the bar. Done.
And then at the end, after they kind of troll you a little bit with the firehouse, they get the firehouse at the end. And it's the exact same firehouse that they use in the original movie. Because I've been to New York, I've seen the firehouse that they used for the exterior shots for this movie. It's the exact same firehouse. The set for the interior even looks almost exactly the same.
I don't even give a shit at this point. I really don't.
Who do you think should be held responsible for this?
Sony. This is... I don't blame Paul Feig. Because he just took the job. He said, fuck it, I'll go for it.
He's certainly engaged in a lot of trolling promoting this movie.
Yeah, he's a fucking asshole and I don't like him.
Yeah, keep going.
I just... This is Sony... This proves that Sony can't fucking handle properties right. They fuck Spider-Man up real bad, and then they're just like, we're sorry, here you go, Marvel. Fix it. I mean, what was it? Was it The Amazing Spider-Man?
Amazing Spider-Man
Amazing
2.
Spider-Man 1 was meh.
I thought it was alright.
It was
It was
okay.
better than it deserved to be, but it was
Spider-Man
alright.
2 was complete horseshit. And
I was nicer to it than most people.
Well, it was awful. I'm sorry. They just threw all these fucking villains.
Yeah, that
And they're
was
all
a
from
mistake.
Oscorp. Fuck you.
And that
Give them a
was
fucking different origin. It was just handled like shit.
But they learned their lesson, unlike 20th Century Fox with the Fantastic
Well,
Four.
hopefully they learned their fucking lesson with Ghostbusters, because they just did Ghost Corps, which is in Sony Studios, and it's an actual fucking headquarters for like all the Ghostbusters. You can go there, you can buy merchandise, you know. This is an
Sony
idea.
was thinking they could do a shared universe with this, or they don't call them cinematic universes now. They're mega franchises.
I feel
And they want to do that with Ghostbusters.
like, look, I feel bad for those, because I'm a diehard Ghostbusters fan, but I know out there the guys that do the proton pack replicas, that buy the jumpsuits, you know, that there are fucking diehard fans. Like, this is a fucking insult to all those people. All that, you know, the reason why we love the original movie, you know, it's a classic, yeah, but even then it's got its flaws, you know. It's not a fucking perfect movie. Like, how do they beat the fucking... If you want to be an asshole, you could say, well, they just stand there with their stick and they fucking point at the ghost. Or they just stand there and, you know, point at stuff. You know, you could say that, but the reason why it works And the reason why this one didn't work, in my opinion, because Sony was just like, oh, Ghostbusters, let's make money. They didn't give a shit about anything else. 1984 Ghostbusters, yeah, Dan Aykroyd writing the fucking script with Harold Ramis. And before then, you know, they were working together. SNL, all that kind of stuff. Bill Murray. So they all had that chemistry working together.
And Ivan Reitman was a great director.
Yeah, he was a good director.
Project.
So, I mean, so you had Dan Aykroyd and Ivan Reitman and Harold Ramis. You know, at this point, Harold Ramis had directed a couple movies. I think Meatballs was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of knew what he was doing in direction-wise. So having him and Ivan Reitman, Harold Ramis probably made sure that this thing turned out the way they wanted it to. And I think the new movie is like Sony saying, oh, well, we need a new Ghostbusters movie. Hi, I'm Paul Feig. Oh, well, here you go. It's yours. Let us know how you do. Mm-hmm. Here's $150 million. You can make the movie now.
Yeah.
Let's make products.
Yeah. Yeah, what's the best part, the thing to come out of this movie?
The fucking Ecto
The return of Ecto Cooler.
The fucking Ecto Cooler and the fucking Twinkies that we had earlier. That's the only thing I could think of. And, you know, toys.
And unfortunately, that sugar rush probably made us a little bit more annoying. Thankfully, we were kind of sitting off by ourselves.
I even told, like, going in there, I told dude might want to sit away from people because I know I'm going to get irritated.
I had to tell him to not swear too loud because there were kids in the theater. There weren't very many people in the theater, but there were kids there, and I was like, calm down, dude.
I feel bad for those kids because, like, I didn't grow up in the 80s, but I can imagine, like, growing up in the 80s, going and seeing the original Ghostbusters and being excited and seeing how badass it was. You know? Compared to this thing, shooting a ghost in the balls.
Yeah.
And, like, a bad villain.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call these fucking characters role models. I wouldn't want to be like a...
Well, except maybe Holtzman.
Like, Doc Brown, okay.
Yeah, she looks like Doc Brown.
I mean, I looked up to Egon, and Ray. You know, Ray was the enthusiastic one. You know, like Melissa McCarthy, she's like, yeah, let's do this and let's do that.
Yeah, they wanted her to be be the Ray of
they
this
didn't
movie.
have the fucking character chemistry that the fucking
well,
first
and
ones
and
did.
that was the other thing was that because Kristen Wiig is supposed to be the camera's still going, is supposed to be their proxy for Venkman, and she's not even really that much like Venkman. She's someone who she doesn't believe in the ghosts like Venkman did, but it's because she used to, and she's trying to distance herself from that because it's like this childish thing that she used to do. It's not that Venkman, because when the movie starts, Venkman's a total skeptic about all this stuff. He's a con man. He's a charlatan. You know, he wants the college funding so he can do goofy things and meet, you know, cute blonde co-eds.
He's a sleazebag, and he knows it, and he knows he's not doing his job right, and he brings it up all the time.
Yeah, but in this one, she used to buy into it. Now she wants to distance herself from it because she wants to be taken seriously as a legitimate professor.
She's just a quiet one.
Yeah, and then when she starts getting enthusiastic about it again and it gets on the internet, then they're like, you are a disgrace to the university. We won't give you tenure anymore. It's a completely different setup. Completely different sort of character. And honestly, I preferred Venkman's journey. Going from the charlatan skeptic to, holy crap, this is real. And then, what do? They're like, we're going to go into business for ourselves. Which they did in this for a while. Then what happens at the end? They become a government institution. They get funding from the government to do what they're doing. Yeah, they're not a business.
Yeah, you know what happens at the end of Ghostbusters? Ghostbusters 1, the original. The second one starts, and guess what? They're all broke. The fucking government sues the shit out of them for property damage, for all of this. Not this one. This one, pat in the back. Oh, here you go. You can have the money for the firehouse now. What the fuck, man? How does that work? And the other thing is, as badass as Holtzman was, she just kept fucking making equipment overnight.
Yeah, she was like Mr. Fantastic. She just invents whatever they need.
Do you know how long it took the fucking original Ghostbusters to even fucking, like, know that they could manipulate the fucking slime. Like, that it was like, hey, you know, if you're nice, it's mood slime, you know?
Yeah.
Or, I don't know. I don't know
Speaking of
what else to say.
Ghostbusters 2, ironically, this movie is sitting at 74% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh,
and
shit.
Ghostbusters 2 from 1989 is what, 40-some?
44%.
And I haven't seen Ghostbusters 2 in a while, but I remember it being better than this.
Look, a lot of people don't like the second one. I love both of them equally. I like the second one because they introduce the slime, and you get to see them, like, you know, they were like at the bottom again, but they were still sticking to it.
Yeah.
You know, Ray and Ernie were doing fucking birthday parties,
Yeah.
going around dancing to the fucking Ray Parker theme song. And
do you want to talk about the new theme song too?
it sucks.
By Fall Out Boy?
It's very forgettable. No one's gonna fucking remember it. No, look. Think about it this way. The original Ghostbusters theme song came out in 1984, and people still sing it. People know the lyrics. I mean, they used to play that shit in bars. All right. I know people that grew up that are in their 40s and 50s now that told me they used to fucking throw coins in the jukebox and play that song, and everybody would cheer and start fucking singing it. No one's gonna do that for the new one. I'm sorry. I don't want to sing to Missy Elliott and fucking Fall Out Boy. All right.
Yeah.
It's just very effortless. They
Yeah.
didn't put any thought into how to handle the fucking thing.
Yeah. I think, normally, when doing a movie review for But I Digress, I would say, now we would give our ratings
Here's
for
my-
the movie.
here's
Well,
my
there's
rating.
his. But actually,
one star you get, you piece of shit.
I just realized there's a better way that we can both summarize, you know, what we thought of this movie. Tell them about the Twinkie. That's your cue to pick up the Twinkie.
All right, pick up the Twinkie right here.
Yeah. Tell them about the Twinkie.
Fuck the Twinkie. I don't want to talk about the fucking
Oh, you had such a great line.
I forgot the fucking line.
Do you want to
Look. All I'm gonna say is,
Wow, he's so angry he forgot his clever
I
line
forgot
about
my
the
fucking
Twinkie.
line. I don't give a shit.
Wow.
We've been fucking ranting, and I know we might end up getting hate because you're all pissed off nerds. No, man, I'm sorry. It's just right here. I had that shit. I've had it for years. Right here, when I was a kid. Every other kid that I knew wanted to be a Ghostbuster. I remember I used to have a Ghostbusters backpack, and you know the strips on the side. I would pick up the strip and I would pretend it was, you know, my little.
Your little proton pack?
Yeah. The wand, you know, the part of the
Oh,
wand.
they had it was like the backpack was supposed to be like a proton pack, and it had a little attachment.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
When I was a kid, I had that shit, and you know, it was awesome. You know, I grew up watching the movies. I've seen the original movie 44 fucking times. That should tell you something. You know, I had the pleasure of seeing the original 2 years ago in theaters, and ultra, was it 4K?
I guess. It looked even better on the big screen.
It was, in my opinion, it's aged well. The effects, you know, and I like the practical effects. I love shit like that. You know, you see the puppet for Slimer, and you have the fucking Zool and fucking Keymaster. You know,
Yeah.
it's everything in this movie is just CG and just processed bullshit.
I remembered the line for you. We'll close with this. It's like, imagine this Twinkie is a normal-sized turd. And then, I forget, it was something like, you know, and then, like, what was it? Something about, like, the turdishness or whatever of this movie or something. I'm making words up now.
Turdishness.
The turdishness of this movie would be a Twinkie that is
35 feet.
35 feet long and weighs 600 pounds. Oh, and there it went.
That's a big piece of shit.
Uh-huh.
That's what this movie is.
Uh-huh. So, thank you for joining us for But I Digress. This is Marchand and Sergio signing off.
And stay the fuck away from this film. Don't watch it.
sure I've got this right?
There we go, and I'm feeling betrayed.
Ooh, nice one.